to the Henshin Hangout. My name is Mark. I'm going to be your host for this segment, and we're going to be talking about everything that has come out of Super Sentai and everything so far. And also we're going to review a cheeky episode as well. Let's just jump straight into it. Well, first of all, we've had some movie news coming out, or basically a kind of one spin-off, which is Two Kaiser and Go Kaija together in The June Bride is a Tamaku, which I have no idea what a Tamaku is, but this is coming to the TTFC, which is the Toy Tokusatsu fan club, which it's an app so you can watch it. I'm guessing it's going to be downloaded straight away. And yeah, it's going to be subbed, which I'm hoping it will be. This is going to be obviously a good team up because they probably shot this straight off the back of the new film that came out a while ago. And it's basically Flink gets married to a monster, but obviously they show the rings. But if you notice in the rings, one is silver and one is gold. So I'm guessing whoever puts it on instantly falls in love and they think that they're going to get married and something like that. And obviously Zox doesn't like this whatsoever and he probably asks Marvelous for help. And the only other Gokaijas that turn up are going to help, which is Guy, Gokai Silver, as well as Aim, who is Gokai Pink. And we see some interesting shots, and we also see the canonization of the Two Kaiser key, which I'm guessing and I'm hoping we're going to see the Zenkaija key that will turn up. I'm hoping Marvelous will turn into that one because I think that would be kind of cool. So that's my kind of prediction. This will probably already be out and hopefully we'll review it when it happens, but I'm kind of looking forward to that. Last week I mentioned that we saw a glimpse of the new Sixth Ranger, and now it has been actually officially announced in the episode 14 preview. And he looks pretty cool. He will take over the lead, but I will tell you why in the review in a little bit. But we've actually seen what he's like. We've had official press shots. We've had the introduction into the preview. And now we know what the toys are going to be like, what you're going to be getting, what his morpher is going to be, as well as new gears that are coming up in the toy line. So let's talk about that now. Moving into toy news with the Don brothers, we have the Sixth Ranger's new weapon and also his Henshin device, which is obviously going to be a spear, which looks really, really cool. This is the DX Ryoko Nogeki, which looks really, really cool to me, and it also turns into an axe. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, I've seen this somewhere. It's giving me some sort of like nostalgia vibes. What was it? It reminded me of the Gokai spear that came out. It was Guy's weapon, which turned into a spear, it turned into a trident, and it also turned into a gun, which again, I was like, oh, it's definitely giving me that vibes, especially with the box, which you can see on screen. So I'm extremely excited to get this, as well as all the other Don brothers. Whoever I order is just going to have a load of stuff to send to me because all of this just looks really, really cool. When it's in its spear mode, it is 560 millimeters, which again isn't too bad, but again, it's not going to be full size. But from looking at the next load of toys that we've got, it looks like it wasn't meant to be that big anyway. But again, we haven't seen it in action, so the TV show might be like, hey, this is a huge weapon that he has. And obviously, you're not going to get the same size, but at least you're going to get all the sounds in it. We also have new gears coming out, which is basically Dragon Ranger, Gokai Silver, Karashima Silver, as well as Two Kaiser, and especially the kind of like, I'm guessing it's the Avataro gear where he turns into a version of it and his body just goes on the floor and he's able to attack. So I'm guessing you get that one in there as well. But that's not all. There's so much coming out. We also have the Tiger Gong that comes out, which again is very similar to the Don Blaster and the Don Saber or Sword, which you can interlink, which will do a finishing move, etc, etc. Now this one comes, I'm guessing, with the other gear that's meant to go into the weapon, as well as White Kiba, which we've talked about previously on here on the channel as the fig arts and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to this, where you probably put more gears into this and it does like maybe a massive attack, but I'm getting kind of Gokai Silver vibes with this one, where he was able to do his final attack, etc, etc. So these are all really cool. What do you think? Let me know down below in chat or in the comments. Now we've had the packaging for the actual morpher, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, hey, they're going to combine both. So if you didn't want to spend them separately, they'll probably combine them in a big box set, which again isn't too bad. We also get little toys, which we've seen in Zenkaija, where they're pretty much painted. They're not the best, but they'll do if you kind of really want to play around with them. This is the main figure itself, but it does come with the extra parts if you want to kind of add to it or you want to swap them out. Normally, I would probably say buy 2 because they're very cheap, but also it means that you can have them both on display if you want to. I have some of the Zenkaija ones, which I really liked, so seeing this I think is a really nice one, and I might buy the rest of them for Don Brothers because, again, they look really cool. Finally, for the last part of the Don Brothers toys that are coming out so far this week, we have the Alter form, which is him in his dragon mode, and also we have a Ninja set, which comes with a Ninja gear, so you can obviously put it in and collect them all the way through. I don't know if this is the only one that you can get in, could be, or it could be the fact that this is a limited edition one that says something a little bit different. But if you wanted to get the Ninja as well as the dragon form, you can buy them in a combined box, or you can buy them separately. Up to you. I normally go for the combined box because it's a lot easier, and it also kind of saves money as well as saving space. It does look like if you buy the dragon on its own, it won't come with any gear, it's just the altar itself. But if you buy the Ninja one separately, if you didn't want the dragon, then obviously that comes with the Ninja gear. And news just in, if you want the vinyl figures, you can. But if you collect vinyl figures, please let me know down below in the comments as well as the chat. And finally, we move on to the episode review, which I generally really like this one. It was very showstopper, very kind of like, oh my god, what the hell happened? So we start off with the entire gang meeting together to figure out if they can easily kind of become better, kind of get feedback, kind of get praise, because at the moment, Don Momotaro doesn't really like what they've been doing, and maybe the team don't like it as well. And they want some praise. They want to say, hey, good job. You've been able to defeat the bad guys, but Don Momotaro can't. He actually calls out on all their flaws because obviously he can't lie. And I laughed. I was like, oh, okay. What? That's a little bit weird, but I kind of understood it to some degree. We get the main bad guy very early on in the episode. So if you're not following, certain people around when they have certain like elements to them, either they want more money, they want fame, they want beauty, whatever they want, they instantly get the monster of the day or week, shall I say, and that kind of transforms them because they obviously want to kind of focus on that. Which I generally was just like, oh, okay, fine. That's fine for what you want to do. So this lady is in the cafe. She picks up a hot towel and is like, oh my god, it's burnt my hands. Oh no. Oni's sister is helping after she's asked Kaito about him transforming, etc., etc. And this old lady is like, no, there are burns on my hands. You've hurt me. You know, pay attention type thing. Which, again, I think, you know, she mentions about her husband passing away, so no one's giving her the attention that she wants. Kaito kind of swoops in like any manager and basically saves the day, and the woman's like, oh my god, it's all fine, and like, you know, how about you bring out the booze so we can drink? And it's just like, what? Why? Just why? Now, we have all the three main bad guys kind of doing their thing, and what makes me laugh in this is the fact that, you know, you have one guy who's laughing, he's like, ha ha ha, and I kind of really want to see just an episode, maybe a short, where he just goes around laughing at different things and kind of like mimicking them. So they all kind of get information from the beasts, these like, I'm guessing like, I'm not caught completely up, but every animal from a pigeon to a fish to a dog is telling them, and with creepy eyes, saying, hey, we now know who the leader of the Don brothers is. It's Don Momotaro. He's from the Don clan, and I'm guessing at this moment in time that these different clans were either working together, they've split off, they've done whatever, and they now want to target the Don brothers because obviously the Don clan. And everyone now kind of goes for Don Momotaro, which I generally thought is quite nice because it's very early on and it's like, we need to get Don Momotaro straight away, otherwise, you know, this mission's going to fail. And they all hate him. I'm guessing because the clan has kind of gone against them. That's it. It's like, you are public enemy number one in our eyes. We will destroy you. Now, what's kind of weird in this next part is we have Don Brothers Black and he's getting his haircut, which I'm guessing is from Pink's wife. It's just kind of weird because I thought maybe he went on about this girl in some of the previous episodes and it's like, oh, hey, you know, we're together now, etc., etc. But for some strange reason, she's cutting his hair and he's kind of remembering it. And then this old woman laughs at him when he wakes up from having his haircut. And it's just like, oh, hey, yeah, you guys are all the same. You're all dreaming of girls and stuff like that. And I was just like, that's a broad brush you're painting with every single person. Okay, fine. But then we see Pink's wife come back into the shop later on in the hairdressers because she's working and she loves work. Now, one scene in this did kind of confuse me. And it's something completely shown off from when I've watched Sentai. But we have the main monster, in a human form, first of all, come in and literally try and steal everybody's clothes in a department store. So I'm guessing there was a sale on, but she grabs all the stuff and then leaves it with the other people. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? But obviously she's like, no, everyone needs to pay attention to me, which then leads it into becoming the main monster of the day. And I was just like, that's a bit weird, but we can see it kind of forming and happening, and it does. Coming up to the biggest scene, which leads into the kind of the last parts of this, we have a purse snatcher. He comes in, he grabs this woman's purse and runs off, and Sonny, who is obviously one of the bad guys, sees this, punches the guy down. When he looks over, he sees Don Momotaro. They share a conversation, and they're like, hey, I want to, you've not had this, so let's go for food later on in the summer when we've done our best and we've destroyed our enemies. Then we can celebrate together and have food, which is Odin. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. But I knew what was kind of coming up. Each person kind of runs away. And what I kind of found funny is the Dom Blaster just comes out of nowhere. And I can imagine a guy just holding it. So it's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, it could talk to them like other weapons in Sentai. But obviously, the main fight comes in. We see the main monster, and it's using the Kaiu Ranger. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Basically, the Sentai version of Dino Charge. Out of nowhere, Don Momotaro just comes in, heavy hitting straight away, rather than just kind of like backing off. He is going for it. This is when Soji then kind of pops in and they start fighting. They do this entire big blast, which then both knocks them out of the powers, and they look at each other. And I generally really thought that this part where they're looking at each other going like, oh my god, like, I didn't know you were Don Momotaro. I didn't know you were this guy. Oh my god, what are we going to do? And it's like a massive betrayal because it started building up friends. Now, I really wish this part was in much later on. It wasn't done like straight away. I wanted it to happen later on, around about near the end of the series, which I think would have caused more tension and kind of more of a betrayal. That's what I kind of wanted. But we see them kind of like going, oh my god. And this is when Soji actually asks Don Momotaro one question, which you don't see later, which I generally thought was, it's a very smart tactic because Don Momotaro can't lie. The others kind of join in later on because they have started to boycott the fighting because they know that if they don't get praise from Don Momotaro, then what is the point? Although with this, the others do start fighting. They are able to kind of take down the bad guy, and they turn into their robot forms, turn into a giant Megazord, actually fight and say, hey, we're gonna go with this no matter what, which is absolutely fine. And then we get the last moment where Sonny just comes in and he slashes down and effectively, as we know at the moment, kills Don Momotaro. And I was just like, what? We never normally see this. And we get the question that was asked, and he turns around and goes, so what is your weakness? Thus, therefore, Don Momotaro tells him, when I transform back from the massive robot, I'm weakened for a few seconds. And that's where Sonny absolutely strikes. And now I generally think that this was planned. I feel like because Don Momotaro can't die, he will return, or he has to go into the other world to get a power or something. But for the meantime, we see him absolutely destroyed, and everyone is like, what the hell? Oh my god, what? And I absolutely loved it. This episode really shocked me, and you never normally see this sort of thing. It's always like, oh, maybe the Red Ranger would be like knocked out for a while or whatever. And I was just like, man, this is really good. This is what we need to see in Power Rangers, because I feel like it would be absolutely amazing. But apart from that, that's the episode. So we've had some really cool news coming out with toys, with movies, as well as the episode. And I am pumped for next week, which I can't wait from when it next airs. So I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on Don Brothers? Are you watching it? Are you going to pick up all the toys? Are you collecting the gears like myself? Let me know in chat as well as down in the comments. And my name is Mark. I run the channel Heirloom. If you want to see more of me, then you can check me out on my socials, which is YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch as Heirloom. Or if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mainstream Live. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this segment. Thank you for joining me on the Henshin Hangout. And with that, I will see you next week. Or probably in a bit. Who knows? Anyway, if I don't see you tomorrow, then I'll see you in a couple of days.